welcome to the House Beyond the Supernatural podcast, the podcast that goes beyond the supernatural. All music comes from Verse13, Shadow Symphony, and Public Domain. All printing for the podcast is provided by Rainbow Press of Omaha, Nebraska. More details about this podcast can be found on houseofbts.net. Tonight's cast includes John the Genius and Archaeologist, played by Arnie, Peter the Parapsychologist, played by Nick, Cass the Psychic Medium and Astrophysicist, played by Kurt, and Zia the Physical Psychic and Extreme Athlete, played by Shannon, and the host of the House of BTS as the Game Master. Welcome back, everyone. It's been a few weeks. We've had everything from illnesses to travelings. Quick note on myself, I went back to Washington State and did a lot of sightseeing and a crap load of pictures of Central Washington, so I have a little better context and ideas of when I'm telling you guys stuff. It's not just researched anymore when I'm describing things. I was there. And other than that, I have no questions that have been sent in or any specific requests or anything otherwise, so I think we're probably about ready to get this going on. So everyone sit back, relax, and get into character. It is time to go beyond the supernatural. Alright, what has been about 24 hours to John, Zia, and Zane has only been about 12 hours to Peter and Cass. How they got here is a mystery. The one minute they were in combat with strange aquatic creatures. The next, they seemingly fell through the floor. Peter described it in his notes as melting into the rainwater flowing down the storm drain. And they rose out of the water in a swampy alien world covered in flora and fauna that resembles a rainforest. Of note, they saw crumbling stone ruins protruding up through the murky water in places, like remains of some long-lost civilization. The shallow lake they came out of when they entered this world was littered with the bones of long-dead creatures. While many of them are human skeletons, many more of them looked humanoid, but definitely not human. Through Peter's specialized knowledge of the paranormal, he deduced that the two of them were somehow transported via a sort of unstable dimensional portal to this alien dimension. He's certain that this dimension is larger than a simple pocket dimension, but not quite as big as, say, a planet or even a continent. Likely is the size of one of the Hawaiian Islands, at best. Traversing this world has been difficult. The swampy, soggy terrain, the oppressive heat and humidity that's almost unbearable, the light mist that hangs over everything, and the light rain that falls constantly. It's all made their trek a slow and exhausting one. Despite all this, Peter has been taking great pains to document as much of it as possible, including the following snippets on his audio recorder.
While neither Cass nor I have any real background in botany, we both agree that while it all looks similar to Earth's, it's not the same. Little missing details, or details that are amiss, have been spotted here and there. We also spotted signs of civilization in a few places, but all of it is ruins, falling apart and crumbling away, or slowly sinking into the earth. Signs of flagstone paths, stone floors, and walls are apparent, but all of it is a severe state of disrepair and being reclaimed by nature in the swampy terrain. Animal-wise, we've only spotted birds and fish here. Cass and I both have a head for biology, and so we're certain that animals here are similar to those of Earth, but again, not quite the same. The colors seem off. Some animals are larger, some are smaller than they should be, and the sounds and movement they make are different. Subtle, but different. So far, we've not come across any intelligent life, but we know that at least one intelligent life form was present in the area, as recent as a few days ago. We found what looks like a primitive altar, built on stonework by skilled hands. Placed upon the altar was pieces of cobble, incense, and a strange-looking fruit. All left on a plate like an offering to a deity. The fruit had been spoiling for a few days, but someone or something had consciously left it there.
Since arriving, their order of business has been documenting their alien surroundings while looking for a way back home. Along the way, they found what looks like may have been a wide courtyard that's part of a long-lost city or civilization. The walls and columns around the courtyard are slowly falling apart and crumbling, but intact enough to provide minimum shelter from the elements. The two decide to camp here as the sun was setting unexpectedly fast in this world. After the sun had set that night, Cass had his own observations to add to Peter's recordings.
I've never felt so lost before. I've been a stargazer since I was a kid, and I've always found it comforting to know where I am by the way of the stars above. But the night sky here is strange, if not alien to me. In the patches where I can see past the mist and the overcast, none of the familiar constellations or collections can be seen, and the sun sets too fast here. I suspect it will therefore rise too fast in the morning as well. My most immediate concern is that until I have had the time to study, map, and understand these stars, I cannot use the night sky for navigation purposes. It's bad enough that we don't know how we got here and have no idea how to get back home. But even if I make a map without the directional sense of the stars, we can never be sure we're going the right way. My compass doesn't work here, meaning I have no real way of determining a true north. At least the stars make sense to me, and yet, something about this strange night sky seems familiar to me, but I'm not sure why. At least not yet.
Beyond the difficulties of traveling over such a swampy, soggy terrain, the heat and humidity here is nearly unbearable. A light mist hangs over everything, and a light rain falls constantly, which has made their trek a slow and exhausting one, but truth be told, without any proper gear and protection from the elements, sleep was hard to come by throughout the night for both Cass and Peter. Both of them were already exhausted by morning. But the morning also brought a surprise to them as John showed up. With him were two members of the Laszlo Society, Zia and Zane, neither of whom Cass and Peter had met as of yet. The three of them had formed a search party to find them. It turns out that Zane located Peter specifically via his psychic dowsing ability with a divining rod and one of Peter's most treasured possessions, the photograph of his family that Peter keeps in his van, to help locate him. After some quick introductions, Zane explained that he left a personal item of his back at the dimensional portal the three of them have come through, tied to a piece of yarn that was tethered to a pipe in the storm drain back home. This isn't his first rodeo in a dimensional world, believe it or not. But he needed to rest a bit before he could begin dowsing again, and this gave Peter, Cass, and John an opportunity to observe the ruins and collect some findings. While the ruins are in poor condition, there's enough detail to analyze a few clues as to the nature of the civilization that once existed here. For example, Peter was able to decipher some information from a few damaged murals depicting what tells parts of the story of the people here. John found the remains of what was possibly a stall or part of a home and found a few relics. Even Cass unexpectedly contributed a lot of details to their findings. His psychic medium abilities granted him the ability to watch a variety of haunting entities, shades, and memory geists moving about and performing daily activities as they did in life. Between Cass's depictions of the hauntings, Peter's anthropological studies, and John's archaeological studies, John recorded the following.
So, what I've read is these people might be similar to some of those guys down south, I think the Incans or the Aztecs or something like that. I don't know, a long time ago. And this, architecture is, kind of monumental. And there looks like there's an extensive roadway, I guess, if you could find roads. I don't know. But finally, and it could be just the fever talking from having all these things inside of me. But this is how would I know about any of their textiles? I haven't seen any goddamn textiles, and I don't know anything about their fucking agriculture, and I don't know where I'm at. These goddamn people were eerily similar to the lifestyle and technology of the 14th century Incan Empire. Let it all out.
I could shorthand in the GM voice again if you would care not to read this. I just thought you would appreciate a speaking recap roll.
No, I'm not here to impress any of these motherfuckers. Only that old fucking dirtbag Smythe. Yeah, I don't want them to know any of the machinations of my mind.
Fair enough. For those who are listening, I will post these on the website at first opportunity.
We're not allowed to look at them.
Note, the cast is not allowed to read them. Listeners, send me your email, and I will gladly send you what was going through John's head. Because what came out of his mouth was far different. And
But enough of it to be said that John, the archaeologist, has made some... what's the word I'm looking for?
I gave you some archaeological opportunities
he's
there.
He's made some observations based on the local archaeology that he doesn't wish to share with anybody. It's not important enough.
There it is. All right, Shannon.
Uh-oh.
Pay attention.
No.
It's your turn.
All right, Shannon, some RPG 101. Generally, you want to engage with the GM in a given RPG setting.
Yeah.
Simply saying
Don't
no!
be a dickhead.
Why, that simply gets us nowhere, Shannon.
I'm not a dickhead. I'm a muda. Okay.
And Kate Kirk, being as you missed that reference earlier, she's been boning up on her Russian swearing. So, she's in the know.
You sure did
So
a lot
do
of
I-
swearing
Do
earlier.
I know what that means?
What, that she swears in Russian?
What the
Unless you
word
have
she
speak
just said
read
was.
Russian on your character sheet, no. You will have no clue what she's saying. I was saying that
Well,
from...
as a matter
I was
of
saying
fact,
that
I
GM
do.
to Kirk. Yeah. So eat that, comrade.
Do I really? Do I have something to read?
I'm not going to make you read anything. No,
Yay.
yo.
Oh my
I'm just going to
God.
make you ad lib a little here.
Oh shit.
You should have taken the reading.
You could read John's part since John doesn't feel like it.
I am a fisherman, pregnant with babies.
I looked around and I couldn't find shit, and I'm not going to tell anybody about it.
All right.
That was a great John over there.
What do we got?
Where were we? Being more people of action than academic, Zia and Zane spent their time conversating and getting to know each other, including comparing scars, tattoos, past jobs and experience, and their psychic abilities.
Same guy really knows how to handle a rod, huh?
He does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Is he really using a fucking roll of yarn to find his way back?
I think so.
For this fucking mess?
Is he gonna douse her with the rod?
Yarn? My pubic hair is stronger than yarn.
Do not dish yarn.
Yeah, now you're getting on Shannon's bad side. You start dissing
That's
the yarn.
personal.
You took it too far, man.
Too far.
Bridge too far. You walked into the yarn yard with her now.
By all means, if you like doing dudes who do dudes.
You have to say, wow, I'm not sure I can say it once. Even if I wrote that down, that was weird. Alright. So this was, page 3 goes into where they were going. Yeah, this is a kind of a snippet of their conversation sort of a thing. So, anyways, Zia, I'm a late bloomer according to Dr. Smythe. I got my psychic abilities less than a year ago, so really I'm still kind of learning how it all works.
He's growers, not
No.
sure.
I figured you got dropped on your head as a baby.
Now, let me tell you something. I'm not much of a storyteller, nor am I really good at explaining what I do, but this is how I think I do what I do. I'd say my gift is finding things and recognizing the not so obvious. It's not very flashy, but I sure as hell don't get any psychic flashes or do mind reading like John over there keeps
So you're just
asking
kind of
about.
perceptive.
Hey guys, leave Roadhouse alone. He's an important part of the group now.
Kirk, man, that was a pretty good idea. Not everyone can pull those off. That was
Sorry, Hoss, us city folk are just jealous of your country bumpkinness.
Kirk has nothing.
We're really fucking jealous of your fucking bare-chested, leather vest-wearing village person outfit there.
Kirk has nothing to be ashamed of. Did you hear that? He just had that was spot on, man. If I didn't know any better, I think he was from Bumpkinville right along with him. Oh yeah, so yeah, I don't do psychic flashes or do mind reading like John over there keeps asking me about, but it's useful in my line of work as a bounty hunter. I feel energy, I read signs, and I follow psychic trails left by the supernatural that most can't see. That's how I tracked Peter, you see. I needed something personal of his, and I hadn't met him before, and once I had a feel for his psychic aura attached to the photograph, I used my divining rod, or divining rod, depending on who you ask, here to track him down. My abilities seem to be all about seeing and touching stuff. For example, I read palms. Here, give me your hand a minute.
She'll extend her hand with silently looking at him. Skeptically.
Alright, so what was, she said silently giving, extend your hand over is what I heard.
Skeptically.
Right? Skeptically. So Zia, using his left hand to help hold your palm out, Zane uses his right pointer finger to trace along the patterns of what he calls the lifelines of your palm. Being 6'3", you normally tower over most people, but as close as he is to you, you realize Zane's actually an inch taller or so than you. And he's got strong hands that have done a lot of hard work. He studies your palm attentively for about 30 seconds before he looks back up at you. Alright, Zia, this line here says that you're in your early 30s, which frankly I don't believe, as you don't look like, you look like, still in your 20s to me.
Jesus Christ, you got her age!
This line tells you that you're a good person with ethics similar to mine own.
Does that work a lot?
I don't know about that.
This one says you're in excellent health and you take really good care of your body.
No fucking shit, look at her!
Well, besides indulging in something tasty here and there, in fact, I could be wrong, but I've eaten enough to say that you may have eaten a big greasy burger in the last day or so, judging by your aura.
Judging by the splatter on her shirt.
You're a strong and confident woman. Your self-esteem is incredible, amongst the most impressive of all the people I've ever seen. Oh, here, and look at this.
Why don't you just give her a couple of shots?
And here, look at this. It looks like good fortune is in your future. It's hard not to notice that.
Yeah, good fortune. You got me to whisper in your ear that this guy's full of shit.
I don't know if I would call that whispering.
Zia's gonna chuckle. She thinks that's pretty funny.
It's hard not to notice that Zane holds your hand a moment longer than he needed to, his finger still tracing your palm before he lets go.
She's gonna pull it back and give him a look like, not time or place.
Yeah, good job, Lady Cleo.
Way to go. Let me take your fortune, man.
Holy crap. Lady of Cleo reference. Only here on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, you get such quality content. And it was here where Zane suddenly kneels down, placing his right hand on the flagstone. Hey, y'all, am I the only one who feels that?
No! Some fucking immense vibrations coming through the ground. Who could miss that?
Guys, we should probably get out of here. Get higher ground, guys. You've seen Jurassic Park, right? Because we're not hiding in no truck.
It's funny you would say that, because a slight thud sound, followed by another one. The pool of water in one of the sunken patches of the ruin ripples with the next thud. Jurassic Park.
I'm fucking out.
We will be fine if we do not move.
They are rhythmic thuds like something big is walking.
John
but
always
thuds
runs. How's
are
that
getting
safe?
louder. It's getting closer.
It can chase John.
Where is the shelter that I can hide up in?
There's a porta potty right over there.
Well, John, that will require a perception roll as far as where you...
Boom!
Fuck. With a natural one, I could say that you could try hiding amongst the ruins you're standing in, or maybe the canopy of trees and shrubbery outside of the ruins.
Or behind your hand. You can't see me.
But as fast as this thing is coming, you can't see me. I'm not here.
Overcome by fear of not being able to find a place to go, I embarrassingly jump behind... What's fucking Hills Have Eyes fucking's name? Tennessee Huck.
Zane?
Zane.
Are you referring to Zane by chance?
I jump behind Zane and put my arms around his waist! Trying to hide behind him!
Cowboy, looks like you have a date for this evening.
Cowboy and Fishman, alright.
Babies will be mud guppies.
Mud guppies, yeah.
Realizing what I've done, I let go and take a step back, embarrassingly. I'm a little embarrassed. But I needed something large and rock-like to hide behind.
There's a folder right there.
I'm flattered that you thought of me.
Uh-oh. He's into that man stuff.
I know!
So, we have his reaction. How about you, Cass?
I think we need to get, like Peter said, to higher ground. Is there anywhere that I can look up and see if I can climb, or get the hell out of here?
Most of the ruins, for the most part, are scattered pieces of blocks and stonework and sections of walls and such. I mean, there's a lot of haphazard blocks and pieces that hiding around, but not much for climbing-wise. It's going to provide you anything but, you can climb to the top of a wall, but that's just probably puts you in a convenient eating position if it's as large as it sounds.
Can we run?
And that means, which brings us over, all the eyes are looking at you now, Peter.
Yeah, Peter, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do? They are now looking to the de facto leader.
I'm going to put my helmet on.
He's got to put the helmet on.
I have to. Makes me feel better.
Makes him feel not so skittish and socially awkward.
Yeah, because putting on that helmet, how would you possibly feel socially awkward?
You can't see nothing.
It's hot as fuck.
Takes my mind off of it because it's freaking boiling in here. I'm going to use some magic, which I've never used before.
Oh, shit. Oh, God.
I'm going to use the Sense Evil.
Hey.
I don't know if it works for this guy, but I'm going to try it.
Go.
So it enables the spellcaster to feel or sense the presence of evil, and especially supernatural evil. So I'm not quite... I'm just going to give it a shot, see if I can figure out if I can sense where he's at.
Memory serves, you would attempt it by using your read magic ability on the back of your PCC.
38 out of 50. So I've got it by 12.
Good job, Peter.
Bim, bim, salabim.
So I can tell you, it is a demonic supernatural evil. Right now, there is only one, but it is large. Judging by the intensity of the evil and where it's pinpointing, it should be upon us shortly.
All right, everybody hide. Get the hell out of here. Find some place to hide in these ruins.
Where are we gonna hide? Come
Keep
on!
everybody
Where?
in sight. Just
Where?
go.
Where? There's nowhere to fucking hide!
I want to climb the biggest tree I can find.
You are fleeing from the ruins into the canopy of the trees. Then got it.
I'm gonna stay low if he's big. I'm gonna stay low.
Oh, fuck me! I'm following the fucking man,
All right, Cass.
muscular
You
lady.
and I,
Woohoo!
All right.
we're gonna...
I got 11 and I have 70. So I climb like a mofo.
Oh, climb. Okay.
Yeah. Russian monkey.
Follow
I'm
Zia.
gonna get to the tree, and I'm going to attempt to climb the
And
same
he's gonna look
tree.
like he's humping it.
We've seen you climb trees before,
Yeah, I was gonna
John.
say, I remember
This
how
not
this
work.
This
happened
does
in the
not
past.
work well with
If
John.
you tell a fish to climb a tree.
Let's
All
see
right.
if he actually
All
gets
right.
it this time.
I have climbing. It's 30%.
Yeah, he's not gonna get it.
Bam! On
Whoa!
4. I'm motivated.
He's gonna get eaten.
Well, that's an
He's gotta be
interesting.
getting eaten.
That is an interesting perspective because before he was not able to climb a tree, but he sees this Russian hottie climbing a tree. Suddenly, he's
Oh, I
It's
gotta
like you
get a piece of
figured
that.
out how to do it.
I'm not seeing a Russian hottie. I'm seeing a Russian slab of muscle.
Yeah, that's true. Who's to say if John's into that or not? Maybe there's just too much feminine there. I don't know.
I'm his bodyguard.
His bodyguard.
I'm sure she's the most muscular out of everybody.
Then I want to.
You got some muscles there, Cass?
No.
Zane has musculature, but his is very different than hers. Where
I don't
want to
be up the same tree as Zane.
Yes, he does.
Zane is
He
not
wants
jumping
Zane
up
in the
same
worst
tree
way.
either. It's
He
not like
wants
he's
mud-
climbing up
mud
after you
guppies.
two, no. But he is going into the canopy. Point is, no, if you're asking musculature, yeah, Zane's pretty big and muscly himself, but he has the musculature of a life of hard work, but basically the drinking class kind of weekends. So he does not keep himself as well toned as her, but he's still pretty muscly. Those of you who have the prowl skill may attempt your roll on it.
Fuck yeah!
If not, then it comes down to what's coming, making perceptions with you guys both hitting it.
I got a 35% prowl. I roll!
Oh, I failed.
40.
Oh, it's gonna find my ass.
I failed.
I don't even have prowl. I just have
bad.
giant
As
like
long
head.
as I roll better than Cass.
47 out of 35.
As long as I can run faster than Cass. What is your run?
I will
I
shoot
got
you in the leg.
23 above.
Fuck, you're faster
You're a
than me. Am I the
23, you say?
fucking
Above.
slowest here?
No, I got 78 and I have a
What's your speed?
55. So I failed
You
real
have failed
bad.
that one as well.
20.
Seems
Fuck! What's your speed?
So really, what the GM is hearing is this monster is coming into a giant smorgasbord on legs.
Bulliad.
Such a pick and mix of choices for this creature.
Fucking bodybuilder, you probably have a huge speed.
I do.
Oh, fuck.
I'll leave y'all behind.
Slowest.
So I have to run faster than you.
I need to fucking... Next time I get a fucking secondary, I'm taking running so I can run faster than Cass.
Goals, baby.
I'm gonna-
Character goals.
My
I'm gonna
running
take
is
running.
ridiculous. I run 15.6 miles per hour.
On the back of your page.
Some of us don't have that.
Well,
What's your
golly.
raw speed rate?
I don't know.
I run
I see. If you want to calculate the speed right quick, here.
Oh.
No.
Like that.
Okay, see, you have
at a maximum of
twice
15 miles an hour.
literally twice as much as me.
So you
So
can run
I
about half
probably
that.
Run about half yours, yeah. We're cool. We got it. You only run a little bit faster than me, so if I trip you,
Will the dead guy slow
I will
you
trip
down,
you.
though? The dead guy on your back, will that
He's
slow you
light,
down?
he's all
I'm going to
desiccated
take
and
out
shit.
my Beretta, shoot John in the leg so he can't run this
Damn
time.
it.
You're wasting bullets.
So,
Yeah, you'll probably roll a 1.
We all failed our prowl.
oh yeah, smorgasbord on legs.
I
is
mean,
what
we
figured
all
out.
Yeah, so he's going
succeeded.
after the fucking hillbilly first, right?
Well, of course not. That would be wrong.
expendable.
Where did? Oh, did he go up in the canopy too?
You know what? He's got a prowl, and I have not rolled. He rolled a critical. What?
Fail.
Fail, fucker. Fail, you,
Prowl.
fail, you piece of shit.
Dude
Well,
looks like
it's-
Big
he's
Boss
only
Man.
got a 45% chance, so it's not great. Alright, it's an important roll. It's everybody. Oh, 82. We are all equally smorgasbordable. If you know what I mean.
Could I roll demon monster lore, or do I have to wait to
What?
see it?
You have to kind of see it or have an idea what it would be before you can make such a roll.
That's no
It's-
fun.
Ugly.
Right
it's
now,
coming
you
right
know
for
it's
us.
big, and that could be any numerous things. Yeah, it could be quite pretty or handsome. You don't know. You just don't know, Kurt. Why you gotta be so judgmental like that? This big thudding thing, you haven't even seen it yet, and already saying it's ugly?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Alright.
Most things that are big and thudding.
Are usually ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all about that. Someday I suspect your better half is gonna give me a black out of nowhere, and I'll be like, yeah, probably had those coming.
He doesn't listen to this. It doesn't pertain
Cool.
to cars or carburetors.
No
or...
one's family listen to this?
You mean I could have had him take care of my radiator problem for me?
We got
one.
wonderful
Probably.
families, let me tell you.
Could have saved myself some
He's
coin.
got to fix my starter first.
Oh, so I got to get in line. Well, I couldn't wait to get in line.
My sister said she's gonna listen. She said that a lot.
Yeah, so did my brother. Fucker.
Your brother fucker?
Brother fucker?
And your brother-in-law, but we know he never listens.
Nope.
So
No,
Fuck that.
Never listens to the show once. He listens to it 1,000 times.
Tony, man, what are you doing? You are weirding me out over there.
I don't know. I'm
You're
trying
mashing it now. That's all.
I'm trying to
That's
figure
all
it out
I'm
too.
seeing.
Alright, is John being quiet in my tree, or do I need to kick him down?
So far, John's been pretty quiet, just mashing it.
You can mash it as quietly as you want.
What are you doing up there, John?
What
Why am I masturbating in a tree? I don't find any of this.
You're a
fucking arousing.
nervous masturbator.
You're that nervous chronic masturbator
That's how
guy.
you-
Like
that's how
you
Sons
found
of
some-
Anarchy.
You found
That's how
some
you get rid
palm
of your
oil
fear.
up
You're
there.
that Sons of Anarchy guy who just chronically masturbates, not even realizing he's doing it. We figured it out. You're that guy. Fear boner.
Your boner. That's awesome.
It's like I made it into a tree.
Eto pis dis.
I'm in a tree.
Yes, you are in a tree. And with a thud that shakes everything in the courtyard, a creature that can best be described as a giant, oversized, walking rainforest canopy tree steps into the courtyard. It seems to have no apparent eyes or mouth set in its trunk-like body, but the variety of vines that dangle from the branches near the top of the tree slide and slither around the yard as if it's feeling it all out, or is perhaps looking for something. It must stand over 100 feet tall. Its trunk must have a circumference of 15 feet, perhaps more. So, long story short, who was it that ran through the tree?
I'm up the tree.
All right, these two were actually in a tree. You two
We're in the ruins.
and 1 to 3. Stay. We'll let the dice turn 1 to 3. So these 3 over here, you two left behind the official offer.
As usual.
Is
More
there
of the same.
is there some sort of fruit or something up in the tree I'm in?
Yeah, John's up there with you.
Oh! Oh!
Boom!
Beat me.
Nice. I'm giving a Zinger XP bonus for that one. All right, Zinger. There it is, right there. So no, there is. This is the map. Most of the canopy style trees here, they bloom. They bloom flowers and what have you. They don't really produce like fruits and such like you're thinking of.
Okay. I have another idea. What's the big old thing doing?
I'm kind of curious what your idea with the fruit was going to be, but maybe it's better I don't know.
Can we do a demon monster roll before?
You may, but chances. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need to give you guys a difficulty factor because this is not a common creature. All right, so those of you who have demon monster lore may roll, but you will be penalized with a negative 15 because this is not a common creature.
Good point. Yeah, fail.
You never know.
I would have made it.
You could always roll not one.
That's about 10 over. Did you say it didn't have eyes, and what else didn't it have?
I said it, yes. Seems to have no apparent eyes or mouth set in its trunk-like body, but there's a variety of vines that dangle from the branches near the top of the tree that slide and slither around the yard as if feeling it all out, or is perhaps looking for something.
I
This is by
got
2.
a 27 with the penalty.
With the penalty, you still bank the 27 over there?
Yep.
Well, that's more impressive because the odds of you even seeing these on Earth are not so great. So for you to even read, apparently you spend a lot of time reading when you're bored.
Yes, sir.
You can read?
Yes, Cass can read.
I read the stars.
Read the goddamn fucking stars.
This magazine has good articles.
I don't look at it for the naked women.
He learned everything he knows of the supernatural off of fetish porn sites.
Ouch.
Ghost humpers.
That sounds like a gimmick for fucking Kirk
I've saved his ass so many times and he still picks on me.
I've been trying to produce this series.
Sasquatch erotica.
That's pretty good.
You know what they say about a monster with big feet?
It's all the same.
He leaves big footprints.
Yeah, he does.
He's got hairy hands.
He's got hairy palms.
Read it!
Well, this is only info that he's gonna know anyway.
Oh, that's not fair.
You know it as a type of tree demon, Ed, but you've never heard of one being this large before. Generally, these things don't get larger than 8 to 12 feet, but it seems to be something either in this dimension or something with the trees itself. This thing is standing over 100 feet tall. That's, as far as you know, is an absolute rarity that you didn't know existed.
I can tell it looks like a tree, though, right?
Well, yeah, you can look at it and tell it looks basically like a walking tree with humanoid features to it, save for the fact that, like most canopy rainforest trees, all the branches are towards the top. But what really stands out about this as well, besides its height, is all the vines that hang from it, while in a normal rainforest, they just, they look like vines, but here they actually look to be part of the anatomy of this tree demon.
Yeah, do we still have fire at the ruins?
I'm going to quietly dig for a flare in my backpack.
How the hell are we going to hit this,
I'm
Peter?
not going to turn it on, but I'm going to dig
It's
for
100
a
feet
flare.
tall.
Oh yeah, those of you with psychic ability would get a adrenaline push.
I don't have any goddamn psychic ability.
That would be equal to a. We're going to give this one a greater. So whatever your greater times is, that's what it's turned up to. Well, keep in mind, you don't have to take it on. Yeah, RPG 101. Don't feel obligated to attack everything that comes at you, kids.
I'm going to set up my recording equipment, get my camera out. Yeah, just start camera photo
So is greater
This
times
thing's
6 or
coming right
times
at
8?
you, vines slithering and swaying everywhere. You're taking out equipment.
I'm taking out
love
equipment,
it.
and then I'm going to run.
Photography skill. And think you had a sensory skill as well. Give me a roll under both of those. Let's see how you're doing under pressure here.
Sensory got a 21 out of 50.
So that'd be 31, still success.
And photography, 6.
Nice.
Holy crap, that's a 16. You're still on top of it. Nice work. Racking
So
up
I'm just
some,
running and shooting.
Racking up some XP now. Running while shooting.
Is he in the way of... Is he in between me and the ruins?
Who?
The big old demon
The creature
thing?
is actually walking through the courtyard of the ruins, so he's actually he's walking into it, which is where these two are at.
Okay.
So technically, portions of a wall might be blocking your view of it, if you will.
Do we still have fire lit at the ruins?
That was there was a fire they had lit at a stone altar, but that was not near here. So there is currently not a local fire source. Not that one couldn't be created, of course.
Then I am going to wait and observe.
So I since I'm hearing you over here running and making all the noise as you're trying to do the photograph work, you see a couple of the vines slither your direction, Peter.
Oh, here we go.
Give me a dodge roll. Add in any bonuses you may have.
Okay. That is an 18.
18. There is actually a couple of. I'm going to treat that as you actually might have been nabbed, but since you rolled an 18, I'm going to say you hopped over a bit of broken stone, which the vine rubbed up against, and then carried on elsewhere. You did not get caught.
Nice.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. Cass, you are still in the ruins, so I need you to make a dodge roll as well, including any dodge bonuses you might have.
Oh, God. No! Peter! 6.
You start screaming Peter just now.
Yeah, because he's the
in
only
your head.
That was in my head.
Okay, because I'm like, if you start screaming out loud, that would have increased your chances of being caught. So be specific. Because these things can hear you, they could come after you. So you generally scream unless you know you're screwed. Because I'm happy to say, even though you only rolled a 6, this thing rolled was actually lower.
Nice.
So, count the blessings on that one. You three that are hiding in the trees, so actually you two in the trees,
Hiding from a tree in a tree.
make a roll, add in your any bonuses you have dodge-wise, as well as add a +5 to it. Some of the vines are kind of feeling up and along the trees and such.
23.
23, hot damn.
My dodge stuff.
Your dodge would be located right there. +8 that I'm seeing.
This thing's sending viney tendrils up the tree?
It's kind of feeling up the trees, yes.
25.
Damn.
But they only go so far, because as this thing continues walking on, the vines eventually leave your tree and move on. And I need to do the same for Zane now, so 2 different dice. You almost had your wish. Yeah, because Zane only rolled an 8, but it rolled a natural 1, so... it wasn't feeling shite.
Can I try and touch the vines and do the desiccation touch?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of ISP.
Do it.
Let's try it.
I'm going to need you to attempt a strike roll then, and add in your strike bonus. You'll find it in the same neighborhood. As a vine gets close enough for you to try to reach out and nab it. Altogether, what did you get?
9.
9. This thing's natural movement, I rolled a natural 2, so even the +3 I would give it for vine movement, you would still nab onto it.
That is all I got.
Well, it's gonna feel it. Memory serves, desiccation touch is pretty brutal. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna remind myself how this works. So
even if it
audiences.
saved, it had half damage.
Well, that's weird. Palladium usually doesn't use that kind of language, but it says automatically fucks tree monsters in the asshole. That's weird.
Kevin's
1d8
gotten rather surly in his
times
writing in
7.
his old age. Kevin, if you're listening to this right now, I'm not sure why you would tonight, because we're a pretty weird, screwy
Way
bunch.
to go about that fucking trees in the asshole, Sembita. Dang. It's awesome. It works out for us really well.
I rolled a 7.
You're getting quite surly in your old age. All right, here we go. So, desiccation touch for the audience to be reminded. Let's see, a desiccation touch. This devastating attack only works on physical, supernatural creatures and mortals possessed by supernatural or magical beings. The psychic only needs to touch the creature to inflict desiccation. This causes the creature to immediately begin to shrivel as if it were a dried out corpse. And you said you rolled a 7 for your damage?
7 plus 10.
So
17 total. It says 1d8 times 10 to greater demon.
Yeah, you would need to roll a 1d8 times 10 for as it is a greater demon.
Times 10.
Yeah, that is a times 10.
70.
I'm kind of like, how are you going to do 17? You actually, in reality, did 70 damage.
I can't math.
So I take it this tree physically manifests a drying out type thing?
Basically, yeah, it starts shriveling out as if it were a dried out
Alright, that
corpse.
looks like a good time for me to turn the flare on and throw it into a shriveling mass of leaves.
Holy crap, 70 to its SDC. That just is right. She just touches it, and this thing is letting out a horrific shrieking sound of pain.
Suka.
Damn straight.
Indeed.
Damn straight, Zia. And then that's where I hear that you were wanting to launch a flare at the... Because,
Good time as any.
the shriveling would basically follow
I don't
down
know
the
what just
vine and
happened.
onto the creature
You
itself.
obviously have some sort of disgusting touch that repels living beings. So remind me not to be touched by you.
In other words, Zia, that is your
shrivel
invite
men.
to get your hands all over him at every opportunity.
You are not worth 20 ISP.
And why not?
I am worth 20 ISP. I am worth...
My mommy said so.
Fuck.
Aim your flare and fire it.
I feel mesmerized.
ringside seat
I
while this
feel
going on.
mesmerized.
Keep firing, asshole!
I don't know if I'd add my strike bonus to
You
that.
do not. This is you would treat it as a standard range attack.
15,
Still pretty
mofo.
good.
Although 15 is a dead center, considering it was not expecting. You only needed you only really needed a 9 or better to do it, since it doesn't know you were firing upon it. And I would have given a +1 for the difficulty of aiming a flare, but you were right on with a 15. Shite.
If only I had some gasoline.
I should have brought my dead rainbow because I think they actually had flare damage in there. So
You want me to
hold
pull
on.
up
Sure, Ar's
an
gotta keep
illegal
it
PDF?
That would take too long. I think I'm just going to just a second here. And no, I do not encourage you using illegal PDFs, please.
Well, I would never.
Because that is taking food from the mouths of the people who wrote these books. Yeah, give me a 3d6. Keep re-rolling 1s and 2s. That's how I'm going to treat that.
Me?
With you. For flare damage. At least the initial flare damage, because we got burning to start looking into.
Reroll what?
Any 1s or 2s, re-roll them until they are 3 or higher. Even if it takes all night, Arnie.
14!
14, and that's burning damage. I will note this 14 with a big-ass B, because that's going to keep adding.
Yeah, that fucking flare's not going to go out anytime soon.
If I had a nickel for every time someone called me a big-ass bee.
Why, you would have at least...
A nickel!
Yeah! Well, your number is times 6, though, now, right? It would have been higher than that.
Yeah, but I had already used 4 on night vision, so I could only...
well, that night vision would have eventually cleared away by this point. How it would have worked, when we first went into this world, so yeah, because I actually think night vision you used the night before, right?
It was in the tunnel, before we came through the sewer tunnel.
Because you still would have been a times 2. You would have been in a times 2 level. And so, what is your ISP times 2? Well, we'll teach you the math game on this right quick.
8 times 2 would be 16.
So you used 4 for night vision. So that would have only brought you to a 4
for my primary.
Sorry guys, I can't hear. I can't concentrate. 2 seconds.
Hold
that thought over here.
Don't listen to us.
I can't. You're too loud. So so it would have been 16. You took away 4 for 12, right?
Yep.
So it would have still been at a times 2 level when we got to the dimension world. So it would have remained at that 12. However, the moment that this creature comes in and it goes to a times 6, that times 6, since your number is still higher than what your base is, your base is actually what gets times by.
Oh, so I still would
So
have
so you should,
6.
you'll actually have the 8, so you can probably launch another one of those you really wanted to.
Vine Monster's fucked.
Of course, you're gonna have to climb down the tree now and chase after it.
If I'm not above 50 feet, I can just fall.
That's right. You took that ability.
Yep.
Heights mean nothing to you. So now that you're following where I'm at, I may have to teach you that more in depth someday. But the long and short of that is, if your number is taller than what your current base is, if the numbers change, it's followed by the base.
Okay.
Had you had used enough, for example, and it went to say like 5, that 5 would have turned into a times 6 instead of what your base is. So it's a math game that if you do it right, you technically don't really run out of ISP if you do it that way.
Okay.
Alright, so math game is over. Back to the game here. So we have 14 in burning damage, 17 worth of desiccation, and this creature is screaming. And we have so you've launched your flare. You're over here taking your photography work, doing exactly what you should be doing as a parapsychologist. And then we got our medium over yonder.
Evil tree, not a good tree.
I'm gonna load up my Beretta with a Spirit Strike.
Your Spirit Strike cannot be added to your Beretta. You can only actually add Spirit Strike to melee weapons. You could technically pistol whip him and get the effect, but bullets will not work.
Go carve your fucking name in its trunk.
I can hit it with a crowbar.
You can do that as well. That's a badass crowbar you're holding on to. You can whip that puppy out and unleash it on him if you know what I mean.
That's what I'm gonna do.
So, as this creature's freaking out, it's the tentacles and such are thrashing wildly. It does not even realize that you're running up to it. It is screeching and howling in so much pain. So you swing at it with a...
This is like locomotion like on this thing. He rolled a natural 1.
You rolled a natural 1.
Oh, you tripped into his fire.
I need you to roll percentage, please.
Oh, no.
It's gonna come back and hit myself in the face.
Enter Touche.
52.
horror factor of fire.
I remember the day that Cass got a phobia of fire. Like it was yesterday, in fact. I'm sorry, what was your number?
52.
52.
52, you say?
You have a fear of DC Comics.
You swung. I'm going to treat that as you swung it way too hard, so hard that it just flew out of your hands and skidded across the courtyard. You no longer have your crowbar.
Oh.
I'm like
Damn it.
amazed watching fucking Cass come up on this tree like a badass, and then I see him swing.
And then you see him swing and the crowbar go flying.
What the fuck?
We are the oddballs.
Alright, Zane needs to get involved. Actually, I imagine Zane, being who he is, probably loved your idea of coming charging at it.
I'm gonna sneak up behind that hillbilly with a crowbar. I'm gonna diddle him in the butthole. Oh, I was being Zane.
Your Zane impression sucks.
Yeah, it does, Hoss.
Yeah, I'll see.
I'm sorry, I should have said cornhole.
Oh my lord. Because, you know, he would probably get easily inspired by the act of bravery with Cass over here.
Isn't he still in the trees?
Cass, well, yeah, well, he is not, but yeah, and
Zane.
I'm glad you bring that up, because being as he is in the trees, he's not an idiot. He's going to take him to, it would take him action to get up to him. So, you're right, he would stand back and fire at it. But she happens to have a Beretta. And he knows how to use it. And he's a fan of burst fire.
Berettas kick ass in trees. What kind of Berettas do you have with burst fires?
You can fire a burst of 3 rounds at this times 2 damage. It is a Beretta Model 92 pistol. It fires in singles or bursts. Unless you're telling me something I'm completely wrong on.
No, I don't know.
As far as I know, in my readings, Beretta Model 92s are semi-auto. Which means you can fire the burst of 3. Well, even if not, you can still... Point being, here we go.
Semi-auto is as fast as you can pull the trigger.
Yes. So he hits. Doing a... Okay, since I'm
It's not a burst weapon.
Come again?
It's not a burst weapon.
The Beretta's not?
No, it's a fire at once every time you pull the trigger weapon.
But you can still fire burst with that.
I don't know. It depends on how fucking exercisey your fist is. I mean, if you say you can fire a burst with a Beretta, you can fire a burst with any kind of fucking pistol.
I will make a note to check the burst on Berettas, but you can still do burst fire with those. Whether you do it from, as you mentioned, semi-auto or not, you can still do a fire of 3 shots. With anything except handguns and palladium. And the palladium cannon.
Burst
Anything except wheel guns, you can... It's for a burst of 3, it's still only 1 action. If you want to start getting higher numbers, that's when you're starting to look at like the short bursts and long bursts, and those do take multiple actions. But yes, in the cannon, you can do a burst of 3 with 1 attack. So he's firing away. She is now clad. You know, you said you just jumped out of the tree as your next action. You're not even caring.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump out.
Zia doesn't even care. So you have fired your flare over here for action 2. What you got? What do you have next over there, John? She just basically hopped, even though she was taller up the tree, higher up the tree than you. She still just suddenly lunged right out of the tree and
going
fell.
to reach for another flare, and that's about it.
Nice. Alright, so, Cass's fate would have it, you lost your crowbar, but you're still close enough to it to inflict it with your spirit strike.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a Spirit Strike Energy Blast on it.
You're gonna try to stay a little safer away. It only
Yeah.
does half damage as a range attack, but you can do it.
That's fine.
See, otherwise you can get in there and Hadouken on it and, do one of these things. So, you're going to range attack.
19.
19, it is a dead-on hit. I need you to roll up the damage for me accordingly, and it goes right to the hit points. 3! Because Spirit Strike bypasses SDC. Peter, still more of the same photography, I see?
I'm going to see Cass loose his crowbar, and I'm going to throw the Annihilator Super Hammer at him. Be like, I want this back! Throw it.
Roll a 1.
You roll a strike. I'm looking for a 2 or higher.
That's a crit.
You have critically successfully thrown the hammer towards Cass, and Cass reaches out to grab at it, and Cass, make me roll. Looking for a 2 or higher.
19.
Some critical throws and catches. You are now holding the Super Annihilator hammer in your hand, and you are ready to use it next action.
Man, I'm just going to...
You're just going to keep
I'm going to keep running around, trying to keep this guy occupied, and keep the focus off of these guys.
Sorry, I'm doing some quick reading here. It failed its saving throw, so it took the full 70 right in the face, as it were. So it can start getting back into action. See if it saves its. Should it save its pain penalty, which it does not. So it will not start fighting until next action. So action 3 for you guys. Zia, you took your action. You were on the ground. I'm assuming you're going to come running at it like you're half crazy.
Am I close enough to it to do one more desiccation touch?
Is there a vine close enough that you can grab onto? There are vines thrashing around wildly around it, but they would be close enough that you could try to reach out to grab it. We're going to treat this basically as the higher of the two gets a strike roll. If you have the higher number, you have grabbed it. If not, you've been whiplashed by a flailing vine. You ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
I have altogether a 5.
Nice.
Natural 20.
Holy crap! You are desiccating the hell out of this thing.
All right. Ugh, 20.
But that turns into 40.
Oh.
Double damage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did it fail any sort of saving throw it might have had with that number?
Okay, now I truly am out of that move.
Hey, don't you think you've done enough with that move?
Mm-hmm.
That's over, it's like 110 points you've flung into that thing just by touching it.
Cooey eye.
Oh, I didn't roll up this thing's hit points earlier. This could be a pretty good move.
Cheater.
Well, it's not cheating, just playing slacker. I'm a slacker, not a cheater.
It's already dead, right?
It's closer than it might have been. I didn't have such great rolls.
Does it shrivel more, or because it's on
It would
fire?
It would continue shriveling even more, and the fire is certainly not helping the situation. So you have done that. You're taking your third action.
This thing has done nothing to us. We basically just started attacking it, and it's done nothing.
I think you were the.
It's a 100-foot tall tree.
I'm just going with
It
it.
was big.
When you point
I'm going
one
with that
finger at
straight
someone,
fire.
3 are pointed right back at you.
It was going after the ruins for these guys.
Yeah, you were saving those too. It's whatever helps you sleep at night, Zia.
A warm pillow.
Where the hell was it? Oh yeah, you took action 2 to load a flare. I will treat action 3. You have a fresh new flare in that gun.
Yeah, I've got. It's not a flare gun. It's like a stick flare.
Oh. Then if that's the case, still stay same outcome. It would take you an action
Yeah,
to grab it.
I'm not doing anything. I have nothing to do.
So you're not gonna throw it. So you have
No,
an option
I
here
just
to throw
got it. Not.
You're not gonna throw it.
It's
Okay.
not.
You have not ignited it yet.
Yes, exactly. Just watching now.
All right, fair. You have not ignited. You are still holding the stick in your hand, if you know what I mean. And Kirk, you have a super annihilator in your fist, and you are ready to plunge it into the body of this tree demon.
Yep, and I'm going to charge it with the Spirit
Oh, you're
strike.
gonna Spirit Strike as well.
Yep.
Holy crap.
3.
Well, you only need a natural 2 or higher to hit.
Okay.
And this thing failed its pain penalty, so it still hasn't become really aware enough yet of what the hell's happening around it to potentially dodge or lash out at you. So you hit it,
7 points of damage.
and that's including both the Annihilator and your Spirit Strike.
Annihilator.
Because you get to add in the
Oh, you
damage
get
of
the-
both.
Okay. 16.
So yeah, kind of give you the quick idea of how this works. I'm not even sure if I've taught you how the Spirit Strike and physical objects work yet. But for until I hear otherwise with Kevin and I confirm with him, the way I read the book is if you're using a physical object, you get to use both the STC of the item you hit it with, as well as inflict hit point damage if applicable on it.
Okay.
So you said it was 17 altogether?
Yep.
And she managed to move this thing with her last desiccation touch well into hit points, so all 17 go right into it. Into hit points. Yes, it is nice, because that's where it really starts hurting. Remember, I need to learn how to do this. You know, when you leave the brokerage industry, it's amazing how quick you forget how to count. I think that was the first thing to go, was my savvy mathness in the day. I used to be able to calculate like a demon when I was a broker, and then you leave that, holy crap, that just went right out the window. Alright, this thing continues its screaming and howling in pain. Firing 3 more shots. Let him have his name. The roll is 19, so that's nice. 3d6 times 2, so 9 times 2, 18. This thing is on fire and is shriveling like crazy as you guys continually stabbing and plunging all sorts of things into it. This action, now it is able to start getting back involved in action 4, and it is furious. Of all the people that it could see, it would be you. So apparently, seeing you running away, it sees you as the one to go after.
I thought it
Yes,
didn't have eyes.
This thing is in blind rage. Well, it doesn't have physical eyes that you see.
It's in a blind rage.
Blind rage.
But it is in a blind range. Which probably explains why it's coming after him, of all people, the most harmless one of the bunch
He
right
hears
now.
all the clicking.
He wants
Click,
my
click,
eye.
Click,
He wants
Don't
my
let
eye.
him take my eye! If this adventure goes south, we will see a tree demon walking around with an oddball that was stabbed right in the middle of its head.
I'm gonna run. I'm out of here.
Well, and I'm glad you're running. You can add
Look who's running now.
You can add a +2 to your dodge roll.
Aren't
and
you
as
the
you
one
see,
hiding in the
as you see
tree?
a whole bunch of vines are
Oh, I'm
coming
not
lashing
hiding.
out
I
towards
failed
you.
that roll.
He did set it
I
on
have,
fire.
looks like I have altogether an 8. I'm not rolling so great. So you might be able to dodge and...
14.
Ha-ha! You managed to either out of reach or hop over, do some fancy shenanigans as only the parapsychologist can do, but whatever you just did, the vines reached out to grab you, and you definitely dodged them. Nice work, Peter. So this brings it to action 4. Zia?
I'm gonna take out my K-bar.
That will take your next action,
Yep.
arming yourself. Action 4 over here for you, John.
Well, fuck it. I'll throw the other fucking sword.
Don't want to feel left out. Throw it!
I rolled a 6.
Let's see here. 2 seconds. I'm going to remind myself. Range thing means the same for throwing stuff, because I don't think it does. It's been a bit since I've read this myself, folks, so it's a good reminder for me, too. Alright, so checking on page 166, 167, going into the range combat notes. It says all range attacks, so I'm assuming, yeah, I gotta treat that the same. So it would require a roll of 8 or higher to strike, so I assume you have no bonuses to throw onto that 6.
2. I have a strike bonus of 2.
Oh, well then you add that in.
Oh, then 8.
Just enough! Nice throw. So give me that 3d6 again. Any 1s or 2s, re-roll. Wow.
Yeah.
First try. 15, so holy crap, this thing is fading fast. So Cash, you just witnessed this thing lash a bunch of tentacles out of your friend and tried to nab him.
I'm gonna try to fucking stab him again.
I like where your head's at. You're only needing a natural 2 or better to stab him at this range.
11.
That is enough. Roll me some damage of both the hammer as well as your spirit strike. It'll all be the same hit point damage. And as a reminder, any 1s or 2s you roll them once. Okay. So 16 altogether?
Yep.
On that one.
What?
Come on.
Redemption.
Yes.
Bitch.
You got the last stab into it.
That's what I do. I stand there and I say, bitch.
Suka.
Suka.
He was probably just mad because John was jerking off in the trees.
Probably.
We'll never know for sure why. If it was just simply because of the
That's my mom.
simply because of the laws of physics taking place at the wrong time, or perhaps because you called it a bad name. But it's as it starts falling towards its death, it is falling in your direction.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna need a dodge from you.
$19.
19? Oh, it was epically close. I have a 17 over here, so it was like one of those scenes you see in an action film where you basically, it's falling down in sections and pieces, and here you are just keeping ahead of all the pieces as it collapses. Right out of a PG-13 action film.
Jesus!
The Rock would be so proud of you right now. The Rock would smell what you're cooking right now.
I need some weed.
All right.
This
Cannabis
isn't
cabin when we
Ghostbusters.
get back. Cannabis cabin on me.
Find your own crowbar. Taking it back. Thanks for keeping it safe.
Yeah.
And as a matter of, Zane, first thing he does, he's running back in the courtyard at you. That was totally badass.
Thanks.
Did y'all see that shit?
I helped.
I never seen such a close call in my life.
Zia will kind of just clap him on the back.
Thanks.
So
Good job.
The remains of the desiccated and lit on fire remains of this tree demon who, as Zia almost kind of brought up, was just kind of minding its own business, walking through the courtyard, and you all viciously attack it.
I wanted to get jumped before it kill us.
Kill it before it kills us. It's a sound strategy, I suppose. It worked. It didn't kill any of you.
Kill it first and ask questions later.
All right.
Russian way.
It does allow bursts with semi-automatic weapons, and I did not think that it did. I am sorry.
Well, this is why we check the book, though. It's, whether if it's semi-auto or not, it's, I think it's, as I understand it, anything but basically handguns you can do, do a burst fire with.
No, it doesn't say anything about not hand. I mean, it says pistols.
think that
Straight up pistols.
that might be in this book. I think is where they got into where they went into the handguns. And I think you and I went over this
What do you mean by
specific.
handguns?
I think they're 2 seconds. Let me find it here because I know I remember reading something to this. Just a second, everyone. We are
Double
checking
action
your rule.
revolvers are semi. This counts double action revolvers as semi-automatic as well. They're single action revolvers, but who the fuck has one of those? Well, I have one, but I would never use it.
You say,
In
I
like a
have it,
combat situation,
but I'll never use it.
Everyone, I appreciate your patience. Now I'm just plain curious.
I did see if a character has no WP that a burst is at -6.
Yeah, without the WP, it's
And with the WP, it's just +1.
well, no, that's the old rules. Because the current shooting burst in this book, it reduces the shooter's normal WP bonus to strike by half. So if you had like a +2 for a single, it's +1 for a burst. I'll have to look for it later, but I know there was a note in here somewhere on.
So I'm pretty sure that Kirk Duche will have a pistol, AR-15, and 300 blackout.
I have no idea what blackout is, but I am not savvy enough to know what blackout
It's a
is.
30 caliber pistol.
Now I know. That's a thing I did not know till now. What time are we looking at? It was 9:42. We are pushing 10 o'clock over here already, guys, and since, all of my pals and gal listeners, and since I have no idea just how much actual playtime we've had tonight, we're going to assume this is a good time to end the episode. So as we did the intro of this creature at the last episode, now finishing it becomes the end of this episode. It's rather apropos in its way. And as a reminder, Nick had brought it up in what adventure did you on last that you talked about the vacation?
Oh, it was just the 1,000 download special.
So on the 1,000 download special, which apparently I didn't listen to, there is a note that we are going to be taking the next 2 weeks off. And as I mentioned earlier, if it didn't get edited out or not, I'm going to try to spend probably all of next week. I'm not going to do squat because I'll be doing Thanksgiving stuff. I have family coming, but any extra time that I happen to get between now and then, I'm going to try to get some more stuff on the website, such as a couple of new NPC sheets, because I still don't think I've gotten Kendra's sheet. And there's a few other things I want to put on there. Start getting some totem fall notes, because once we're done with here, inevitably we're going to get the totem falls again, because it's got a great way of getting itself into trouble all the time. So I'd like to get more stuff on the website between now and then, and otherwise I'll be writing for the next portion of our adventure, where again, as a good stark reminder, in 2 weeks' time, the group has a situation where A, they need to get out of this alien dimension, and B, they need to figure out how to deal with the fact that some of them are mommies now.
Oh, God.
All of them but the female.
Yeah, and time seems to be working really weird here, so
Yep.
I'm going to hurry
I'm
this
glad
shit
you
up.
brought that up, as that is going to come up at some point. I love where your head's at.
Yeah, I think we're going to be 12 hours before John.
Yep.
He's going to...
Before or after?
Well,
he got infected
I
before
will-
he did.
time goes slower
Being
here.
is, before we end the episode, the very first line of the recap, what has been about 24 hours to John, Zia, and Zane has only been 12 hours to Peter and Cass. So by that calculation, you two are 12 hours ahead, behind him.
So John could die first.
Yeah. All right.
That's all right.
He's
with me.
like, I'm alright with that.
I'm all right with that.
Not only do we know that when he goes, we still got 12 hours, that just means we have to come up with the solution by hour 11. We were saved miraculously at the 0 hour. We could have saved John. But anyway, everyone, I hope you all enjoy your Thanksgiving 2018 this year. Eat lots of turkey, gobble till you wobble, and all that good stuff. I think we have a vegan at the table, so whatever it is you're going to eat, I hope it is
Tofurkey.
delicious.
Satan roast.
So forky.
I don't even know what a Satan
roast.
roast
It's
is.
seitan.
Seitan roast.
Or a tofurkey.
Tofurkey.
That sounds scrumptious.
There's a chocolate cake in there.
Well, now you're talking.
There you go.
So I think this is probably a great way to end the episode. You all enjoy your Thanksgiving and enjoy the next next week off after that. Then we'll be back. I don't know if I'll be running next or if Nick's doing. We'll figure that out next episode.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But otherwise, whoever's running next. And anyway, again, this is the GM Steve,
Nick,
Kirk.
Arn.
Shannon.
and you all have a happiest of evenings, and always go beyond the supernatural.
Bye.
Bye. Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
While neither Cass nor I have any real background in botany, we both agree that while it all looks similar... Okay, gotta slow down. Gotta be the Peter. Gotta be more like Peter.
Be the Peter.
Be the Peter. Slow down. Work it slow, Peter.
So I don't know what this means. I need to read this. You have me read it later. Someone else totally.
I'll do it.
I was waiting for it. I didn't want to just hand it over, but if
You gotta do it as Cass.
you gotta do it as cast. So below this line, that is all you. Feel free to make it. Feel free to make it feel like Cass.
Angry.
Son of a bitch! Son of a bitch! Motherfucker!
I never felt so lost before. I've been a stargazer since I was a goddamn kid, and I've always found it comforting to know where I am by the way of the stars above. But the night sky here, it's strange, if not alien to me. In the patches where I can see past the mist and the overcast, none of the familiar constellations or collections can be seen, and the sun sets too fast here. I suspect it will therefore rise too fast in the morning as well. My most immediate concern is that I've had the time to study, map, and understand these stars. I can't use the night sky for navigation purposes. It's bad enough that we don't know how to get here, and we got no idea how to fucking get back home. But even if I make a map without directional sense of the stars, we can never be sure we're gonna go the right way! My compass doesn't work here! It doesn't work! Meaning I got no real way of determining true north! At least, until the stars make sense to me! And yet something about this goddamn motherfucking strange night fucking sky seems fucking familiar to me! But I'm not sure why! At least not yet!
You said it all, Cash. Side note for anyone who's listening, such extreme,
Jeez, Kirk.
such extreme
You need
recaps.
to switch to decaf.
Go fuck yourself, Arnie!
Since arriving, their order of business had been documenting their alien surroundings while looking for a way back home. Along the way, they found what looks like may have been a wide courtyard as part of a long-lost city or civilization. The walls and columns around the courtyard are slowly falling apart and crumbling, but intact enough to provide minimal shelter from the elements. The two decided to camp here as the sun was setting unexpectedly fast in this world. After the sun had set that night, Cass had his own observations to add to Peter's recordings. John recorded the following.
That angry?
I think you're a better Cass than Kurt.
I think you did an excellent job, you know.
I trust you.
Oh, really?
Not really.
You dumbass.
I know what
What
you
a
did.
knucklehead!
You've been trying to bury my character since we started.
All right.
Like as mentioned, feel free to ad lib and add your own bits and pieces. But this is good backstory stuff here, and then I can stop bringing it up and let you guys flail on your own.
Today.
Done. I know what I know, and I know how much I would share with the group, and that's about it.
And that's nothing.
And that's nothing.
I ain't saying shit.
This is for the podcast, not the cast. The listeners would like to know what is going through John's head right now.
Bunch of cats.
I can do you better than I can do Mike at this point.
Sad part is, I think he's right. His cast was so inspired. I don't know if anyone's ever going to top his cast.
Switch characters.
Yeah, trade your characters.
I'm a whiny bitch. I run at every chance I get.
I really try to stay quiet so it comes out okay in the recording.
It's okay.
Because that should be a blooper if you can't squeeze it in there anywhere.
I'll be like, tonight's cast is going to be played by Arn.
And no one will give Kirk back the role.
Are you kidding? Have you listened to him play cast?
Might as well make a new character, man.
You drew him up that one.
That's true. We do have we do have that goblin
Kirk
thing.
the pedophile
The
or
Kirk,
whatever.
that goblin is mine. He can be
Yeah, he is.
one of the alternate characters on there. The guy in the
Oh my
bathrobe or
God.
the fish follower.
Yeah.
Who the hell is the fish follower?
He will show you.
Yeah, did I want to know? No, or so I guess it's too late. In for a penny.
I see big dangly balls.
Yeah, you do. Maybe I should put those away now, huh?
But those are the alternate characters. That one's mine, and the muscular one is mine. You didn't see those?
I do remember Douche Kirk. I don't know. I think these other ones came
Kirk
later.
Douche.
There it is, yeah. But I think these other ones you added on afterwards. Although the guy with the fish shirt seems, actually, he seems like a cool dude.
He's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. I say cool dude as in, like, he's my brother-in-law, so I gotta kind of cover the guy, kind of a thing. But really, we all know what a piece of shit that guy is.
He's a fucking piece of shit.
But his cousin is a good kisser, according to the paperwork here. Who gives him handies. I could just hear the sound of all of our listeners dropping off our station, or all the wackos are coming to us in droves.
We got our 1,000.
I can't wait to come
Nothing
up with
matters
Kirk
anymore.
Douche.
All we promised was to hit our 1,000. After that, we no longer care.
You can't railroad us if we're off the fucking rails.
Amen to that.
Alright, I gotta take a break. I laughed too hard. It's your fault. We're waiting for Cass, or what are we doing?
Well, I can read the next part. Are you kidding? He's been with us all along, apparently.
He can be me if he gets here.
He's
in
just
time.
sitting. He can be you. I wouldn't recommend it. Yours is a little more reading than his. Who knows the hell he would do with that?
You saying he can't read?
I did not say that. You did, Arnie.
Jeez.
I said nothing of the sort, Arnie. I don't know why you would talk about Kirk like that in such a fashion, but certainly not this honorable GM at the table here would even insinuate such a thing, and yet you said it. That's a serious threat, man. Douche will come out if I swear to God, you killed John and Douche's coming out. Don't make me do it, man.
He's gonna be like what I did on the radio just there.
And you can make him a nigga psychic on top of that. There's no such fucking thing as a ghost, you piece of shit! You goddamn psychic bullshit! Take your psychic ass and show him bitches! Take your fucking psychic shit and cry out your goddamn motherfucking asses! And then everyone will keep wondering how Douche keeps getting left behind at all the events. I'll find my way fucking back, guy. Yeah. They left me here again. Is this something I fucking said?
Oh, the fact that he's 4'6" makes it better.
Goddamn Leslie! Headquarters, you won't fucking unlock the goddamn door! We're just sitting outside the goddamn cold feet my mouth their fucking balls off! You know, I almost kind of want to make him out. Mental note: killed off John early tonight.
You could bribe me. You know, I could start 20. My character off at like 6th level. I might consider it.
6th level Douche.
Premiering in episode 20.
He's on probation from his recent stint in the pen for failure to register again.
It happens.
I bet Cass's fucking palm is hairy.
Well, Cass, are they?
John
asked you a question.
I'm gonna peek over to Cass's palms. No.
I haven't been able to shave in 2 days.
Everyone, we must cut this episode short. Kirk is running and hiding. And he refuses to show us his hands. Except a particular finger on each hand.
What's that? I'm number 1?
Yeah, I'm number 1.
You're my best friend.
Editor, I'm in a weird place when I ask this question of how many minutes are we into the show, because
3,022.
3 minutes.
Versus, yeah. I think we've had 20
gotta
minutes to
speed
half
this
hour
shit
worth
up.
of show. I'm not sure.
So we've been recording for an hour and a half. I'm going to guess we have about maybe 30 minutes.
That's so bad.
Micro episode.
So when does everyone's Thanksgivings get over?
What time are we having dinner? We haven't come up with that
We haven't
yet.
even said anything, so none.
Good. I'm sure she'll be fine by then.
Well then,
I hope.
no point in stopping yet, since apparently we got plenty of, sounds like it's going to be a 1-episode night, everyone.
I'm just gonna cut it up into 3. There's 3 micro episodes, 10 minutes long.
3 micro episodes.
20 minutes of bloopers.
Just add
or
some
no,
pauses.
hour and a half.
Recap page 1, recap page 2.
We're on hiatus for 2 weeks, guys, so fuck off.
Yep.
Here's your
2
3
or 1?
I said 2. In the last
Because I know
On
next
the 1,000
week,
episodes.
Thanksgiving-
Yeah.
on the 1,000 episode or 1,000 download episode I put out for like the special, I was like, we're taking 2 weeks off due to illnesses and stuff, so we'll be back in like 2 weeks.
And that doesn't include last week then. So
Nope.
Next week and the week following, no game. Got it.
Yep. So we're good.
Which is good because that will give me some time. Yeah, those of you that might be listening right now, one of the things I've been trying to. I should be getting to the end of all of my gigs and whatnot for the extra coin I've been trying to make to cover medical bills and all the plumbing problems and radiator problems that have plagued me as of recent. So if we're taking 2 weeks off, I expect I'll be able to use some of that time to add on NPC sheets and information onto the podcast webpage the podcast page of the website, and I would like to get some of that out ahead of time before I start sending you guys there, because I would really like to have all of my info for Totem Falls actually on the website before I send all you guys there again. So, if we got 2 weeks off, we'll see what I can do with it.
Totem Falls and not die here.
You gotta, but that means you gotta survive this world first, and there are no guarantees in this game.
Hey, Nick, we hit 1,000 downloads?
It's gonna be Kirk Duche in fucking your
Then
town.
that means
I want to be
it'll be tattoo time soon.
fucking stupid.
Yeah, they don't need to know about that.
Okay.
Those 4 people that listen to
It's
that
gonna be the
episode.
most negative character ever.
I've already been drawing mine up. So.
And this is just practice.
He is so negative.
John Babylon is just practice.
He's warming up. He's paving the way for
Maybe
Duche.
John Babylon should have like a mental breakdown and he should become Kirk Duche.
Oh my lord.
Who?
John Babylon is gonna have a
Kirk
psychotic
He
Duche.
seems
breakdown.
like he's ready for a mental break.
He does seem like he's ready for a break.
Once he sees
Well,
this
tighten
demon,
up the snap, if you ask me.
And he's going to ruin it. 'Cause
I'm supposed to. I'm gonna ruin your goddamn asshole, you motherfucker.
fuck you up.
My goddamn fist. How do you like that? It's gonna happen.
Damn.
You guys, anyone remember back in the day, first episode, I said I was going to try to keep this podcast PG-13?
I don't give
yeah,
a
a little
fuck
bit.
what
Yeah.
you want to fucking keep
Notice
the goddamn
I said
PG
I
motherfucking
would. Arnie made no
bullshit.
such promise.
I wasn't here for that promise.
So therefore, you don't feel you don't feel you need to commit to that. Eh?
No, and I'm kind of a motherfucking sailor.
I've only dropped
I was
one
looking for
tonight.
Russian swear words, and you completely
No, you
disregarded
cussed a
them.
lot.
Push
You
your
shut-
nahui.
You shut up. You shut the hell up. Yes, I know I have custom.
you didn't even know you cussed so much.
Pizda.
Sometimes we never truly know our characters till the heat of the moment.
Or until somebody else plays them.
Or, yes, until someone else plays them.
Body swap.
You want to see cast through my eyes? Give me that sheet.
Freaky Friday here, bitch. Everybody changed their characters over there.
I'm Cass, and I'm 97 years old. I'm gonna tell you the story.
Back in my day, candy bars only cost a nickel. So, as a psychic medium, I got a joke for y'all. What do you call a tiny psychic on the run from the law? Give up a small medium at large. Huh? Huh?
Badum-tis.
Oh god, that hurt.
Oh, that was a clean shot right there, Kirk. I know that one hurt.
Okay.